And we are back. The Moped Outlaws, episode 99, with our returning guest, Radioactive. Before we get started with the conversation, we're going to play some music. It's good to have you back, man.
Good to be back.
Some people see things by the story that you told them, but everyone is asleep until they are awoken. If you got love for your people, they won't know till you show them. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody is equal until you truly know them. Some people see things by the story that you told them, but everyone is asleep until they are awoken.
Grabbing an empty notebook, good old paper and pen, sit in my room with the boom as I say to my friends, this ain't the end, it's the beginning, cause we're spinning round and round like the waves in the sound, lights and waves of a crowd, nights and days of the wow, why, what, where, and how did we get here? It's foul, who forget, fear and growl, who the next years of power, soon elected, cowards prove to let tears shower, down the cheeks till it's found in the streets, neglected love, expect the flood to be surrounding the beats, books turn to boats as we drown in the sea, and the hooks filled with hopes drop down so deep to keep anchored back to earth with the ground at my feet, while I'm thanking God first, not the crown that you keep, awoken by a rap and a rhythmic beat, you can't cope with the fact you was living asleep.
If you got love for your people, they won't know till you show them. Nobody is equal until you truly know them. Some people see things by the story that you told them, but everyone is asleep until they are awoken.
I occupy the day, give thanks first thing. Life's a freestyle despite rehearsing. 4 words, there is no reversing. I occupy a flow with a song rivers sing and the rain dance. Then I occupy a strange glance of a choir that watch the sky and sang chants. Screaming, make it rain, they naked and they raise hands. Seeming shaken when awakened by the bass amps. It's ancient, rocket flying fearless. Make plans to occupy the spirit when they hear it. And they share it everywhere if they get near it. Occupies the body and mind, almost can't bear it. Let it go, occupy a better flow. Hip-hop is my spiritual, recreational, and medical. Cultural, occupy a bunch of y'all. Unify and multiply dollars, just watching y'all holler.
If you got love for your people, they won't know till you show them. Nobody is equal until you truly know them. Some people see things by the story that you told them, but everyone is asleep until they are awoken. If you got love for your people, they won't know till you show them. Nobody is equal until you truly know them. Some people see things by the story that you told them, but everyone is asleep until they are awoken.
That was just a sample for those of you who are watching on video of the amazing artwork that Radioactive produces, as well as the amazing music that you heard. But that's one of my favorite things about you, Radio, is the depth and breadth of your creative power. I want to ask you about that song. What can you tell us about that song?
Well, first I want to say thanks for having me here. Thanks for also playing that song and rocking that art up there, because a lot of that I don't even remember. So as I'm looking at it, it was so new to me too. I'm like, oh, that one, ooh. And it just makes you think I'm going to go back and like catalog a bunch of the stuff. I never go back and look really at them. So I'm glad to be reminded. A lot of times we can't scroll down so far in our Instagrams and take that time to keep, stacking. So I guess that's a good thing for that storage. That song, Awoken, which came to be, I made that song a couple years before the pandemic hit. And so now when I listen to it, it makes me think like of some of the stuff I was talking about. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It's about, and which is wild because the years before people weren't talking about the woke crowd. Like now I hear people say woke, and that wasn't a thing that people was saying. And so before I had did Awoken, I did a song called Wake Up. On my album, it was a mixtape called Sleep or Sell, which also was Sleeper Cell or Sleeper's Hell. So to see the progression of that, every time I hear Awoken, I'm like, wow, when I perform it, I only perform the first verse. I don't perform the second verse ever. So as it started playing, I'm like, wow, I never really listened to that song. But then I'm like, oh, that's how the second verse was, because you know what? The Occupy movement was happening. Remember that Occupy Wall Street?
That's so long ago.
Trump or before that?
No,
that was way before Trump.
We're talking like 2003.
Yeah. Occupy Wall Street was like, you know, people thought that was going to be the revolution, right? Another one of those things. Now it's another thing in the past. But that's why that whole verse, I'm like, I occupy the day, give thanks first thing, likes to freestyle besides rehearsing. I said 4 words, which is forwards, but I said 4 words, there is no reversing, which is actually 4 words. And I said, I occupy a flow with a song, Rivers Sing, which is like reversing, but the rivers sing. And the rain danced. Then I occupy a strange glance of a choir that watched the sky and sang chants, screaming, make it rain. They naked and they shake, and they naked and they shake hands, feeling shaken when awakened by the bass amps. It's ancient, rocket fly fearless. It's like people standing around naked, like dancing for the sky for it to rain. It was also a drought going on in the thick of the drought, you know. And so that song actually, I wrote it without thinking about it. Like I didn't stop. You know what I mean? I almost couldn't write fast enough for my thoughts of it. You know, if that makes sense. Like I'm writing, I'm like trying not to write scribbly because I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And the rivers sing. Once it got to that, the whole time I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, rivers sing. Like I was like a Mad Hatter writing that one. So I actually really love that one's still before its time. It's not one that is a dancer unless once I got a live band playing that, right? That beat, I want to say Greenhouse Records. I want to say that was made in Santa Rosa at the Live Musicians Co-op.
Wow.
But the beat I want to say is Hypnotic. My homie Hypnotic is what I want to say. I'm pretty sure that's Hypnotic if I had to guess.
So were you playing that beat while the lyrics are flowing through you?
Like I think Hypnotic created that beat.
But what I'm wondering is, were you writing to it? Like, were you listening to that as you're writing?
Yes. Oh, yes. I went into the studio and I had some studio time. So I got into like, what do you want to do? And I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to do? Of course, now that they hear this, I'm like, really? But they didn't know that I was going in there like, what am I going to do? They're thinking, I'm like, oh, that beat. Now that beat I had and rocked it live, you know what I mean? I loved that beat. And so just to write to it, it was like, da. And so it came to me. It's weird thinking about it now because it was really, I just dove into that, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And I had a whole bunch of rhymes ready. I had a backpack full of rhymes ready that I could have picked from. I went right to that. And then, yeah, now it's so before its time. I can only think about it now and go, wow, That's crazy because when I was writing it, like, what sense did it make? It just came out. You know what I mean? Yeah, just thinking about it, I might have to go back and listen to it because there's a whole thing where I'm talking about the leaders. Let me see. It's part of the first verse. We got love you. How does it go? Grabbing an empty notebook, good old paper and pen, sit in my room with the boom. As I say to my friends, this ain't the end. It's the beginning because we're spinning round and round like the waves of a sound and the waves of a crowd. Wow, why, what, weird, and how did we get here? It's foul, fool, forget fear and growl. Soon the next years of power. Elected cowards will let tears shower down the cheeks till it's found in the street. Neglected love, expect the flood to be surrounding the beach. Books turn to boats as we drown in the sea, and the hooks filled with hope drop down so deep to keep anchored back to earth with the ground on my feet. I'll be thanking God first, not the crown that you keep. Awoken by a rap and a rhythmic beat, they couldn't cope with the fact they was living asleep.
Wow.
So
Which is
much
wild
of
because
your
the woke movement came after that, like people being like, I'm woke. That wasn't really popping off like that. So I did a whole art exhibit at that time called Awoken, which is a lot of that stuff he was showing. I had a whole art exhibit, and I was like, I'm gonna call the art exhibit Awoken because I got this song that's Awoken, and it's like, do I do the song for people to dance to, or do I do it to mean something else time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the song's dope. What is that about? All right, now I got the art, and thinking at some point someone's gonna put two and two together, show that, but I don't be thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like the painting that's in the background, the whistle, that was part of Awoken. Mm-hmm. Oh no, that one was geotech. It's like geotextology. It was like this weird, textures and geometry.
Right.
Geometextry was what it was. But any which way, that's what it was. The Awoken writing that. Thanks for asking me that because it really just set my brain in a bunch of ways thinking about it. It was random.
Yeah, so this is the background that we have going, right? So that's
Yeah.
the piece that you see behind us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I
it
need, you know what?
seems
I'm gonna
like
make a print out of that.
it seems
You say what?
like your flow in the moment is so potent and powerful. Is that one of the reasons that freestyle really appeals to you? Is it's like there's just this gift that comes from the moment?
That's a good question. A gift that comes from the moment. You know what? It's the only moment. Yes. It is the only time that I am in the moment, which is wild because there's people that meditate to be in the moment. But like, I feel like when I'm thinking about, like when I do try to even meditate, like whatever I'm thinking has already passed. By the time my brain thinks of whatever I'm thinking, that's already passed. Even the silence has passed. But like freestyling, I'm right at the edge. It's like traveling to the speed of light almost, right? It's like, and like in actuality, you shouldn't even be able to. I talk to some like brain surgeons, whatever, they're talking about, they're like, actually, like the fact of the matter is your brain is calculating it. So by the time you realize it, it's already happened. So how to rock off a beat, freestyle, how to see things and rock with it, but the beat's playing in real time. You know,
So you're actually you're a future traveler.
Your heart's beating in real time. The planets are really, even though people say time doesn't exist, it's like, doesn't it though? Like we're all on these knobs in the clock. And if any one of them stop, the whole thing falls apart. So time and space and where something is as it clicks. It's like time doesn't exist, but it does, which is weird because it's the only time other than love where I think of love as the all, but then that's my first time thinking outside. But well, now look, because the all would be rhythm. That's wild. So like, yeah, it's wild that all these things are connected. Like, whoa, it's there, but it's not. How is that possible? It all fits, right?
All truths are but a half truths, and this is the paradox.
Yes. And while we search for the whole truth.
Right.
Amen to that.
Chasing some kind of rhyme for our time.
Yes.
So we can feel sublime.
Man. Shoot, life is beautiful. So yeah, the answer to your question is yes.
All right, moving right along. How is it to be a prophet?
I mean, I've never been the one that profits off myself, but I would ask anybody that made money off of me, like, I wonder how it is to
No, I mean a prophet, prophet, like an apostle prophet. Biblical.
Oh, I know what you meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know what you
All right.
I wouldn't consider myself a prophet, but I definitely consider myself a prophecy.
Well, I believe it probably I don't think a real prophet does consider themselves a prophet, but that flow.
Like, I see the prophecy. I don't know how to explain it though.
Yeah, but that flow we just heard that opened up this episode is prophecy. Like it makes
sense now.
What?
It makes sense now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In the time, it didn't feel like prophecy. It just felt like, wow, that's weird. It's a story. I'm like, okay, people standing around. To me, it's like, ooh, when it connects. I could care, like, I don't feel like a prophecy, except for everything's connected. So really the funny part about it is like getting a joke that is the intergalactic joke, where it's like, oh, you search for things, but everything's just a joke. It's because it's like, ha ha ha. Yeah. Just seeing it connect is what gives me that. Once I see it connect, I get the goosebumps. Oh, it's meant to be. What is it? I don't know, but it fits. And it fits so beautifully that it's like, what are the chances of that? Right?
Yeah.
You try to find the pieces of a puzzle. You pick up a rock and go, because I need something around this size. And when you stick it in, it just goes in. You're like, what? I think at that point, when you're not looking for it, that's where the prophecy would be, right? But I think the prophecy is really a joke. It's a punchline when we're looking for something serious. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Well, like, and you kind of, what I heard earlier is you playing on the word profit and also profit like business. And so
there's also a pro-fit.
Yeah.
Like I have like fits a lot and I'm pro at it. I'm a cancer.
And I was even thinking of professional like sports person, and you got your fit, you got your shoe, you're like
that's what I'm not one of those.
Wow.
That I'm definitely, but soon I'm gonna prophesize that in about 5 years, I'm gonna be like blow, 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 healthy. You know what I'm saying?
In about 5 years.
Yeah, in
what
5 years.
Giving you 3.
You gonna give me 3?
No, what if God's giving you 3?
Then I got 2 up there to exercise. You better have a gym up there.
Right? You look very fit to me.
I'd like to pick 3, but God made me say 5, so I was like about 5.
All right.
Which is a great name of an R&B band. If there was like 4 people, 4, 3, sometimes it's 5. Like New Edition is like about 5 people.
Yeah, I like that.
How many people in the band? We have about 5. The club's asking, how many people come in your band? About 5. It's like, about 5. Well, there's this guy Radio. He might show up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he counts for 4
trio,
people.
But we're about 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, this question keeps coming up in me.
Okay.
I got a feeling that you have witnessed people profiting from your energy and walking away with the lion's share while you're in the chair sitting there. Is that a real thing?
That rhymed, first of all.
Yeah, that's probably how our episode's going to be.
Did you hear that? That rhyme while you're sitting there. Oh, the lion's share. That rhyme. I thought you was about to start spitting. Something that I wrote recently was even the moon profits off the sun,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
We see a full moon, we're like, look at that full moon.
Yeah.
But really, that's the light from the sun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even the
Yeah.
moon profits, and then like, what is profiting? Gaining, right? Making
Yeah.
something more than you would have without that thing, right?
Yeah.
So there was a time where I just didn't want people to profit off me, or you know what I mean? But now I would hope that they profit off of me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Like
beautiful.
I go into this
Yeah.
elementary school and I'm praying like, yo, profit off this. I'm handing you this. Like take something from this and if I can make your life better and easier with this, do it. You don't even got to remember my name. As long as I do it, there's people that helped invent the lights, not just Edison, but we say Edison, but there's a whole bunch of other people that did. We'll never know their name, but you know what? The lights work, and that's enough for those people, right? Those, when they go on at the gates, their doings and successes and failures will be weighed on their own scale at their own weight mass. You know what I mean? And so as we try to move towards one way or another of doing something that is and taking claim to it, it's like we profit off of all things. We profit off of nature. Like like the fact that everything is connected and has already happened and will happen and it's all by rhythm. I profit off that every day.
Yeah.
Every day. The
mentioned
fact of
schools.
like, you know what I'm saying? And even interacting as people, there are rules that we could follow that would make people's lives easier, right? There are different levels that we can learn, right? And then we might not, right? We might take the long way. For me, if I'm hearing a beat, I'm like, okay, I know like this. And I try to talk to people as if they see what I see or hear how I hear. Like if I'm eating some food, they taste what I taste, but they don't. And so to realize, oh, wow, they're on their own place in it. And not only that, that doesn't mean it's bad because now they're taking this experience and however that happens and it fits like that rock that you pick up and you go like this and you're like, oh, it just doesn't fit the way you thought it was, right? And most of us will fit it and go, I fit that. I did that.
Right.
I picked up the rock and I fit that.
I found that rock.
I pulled that out, right?
Yeah.
And that part, we get that. It's like we give it to that. And at different levels, we profit off of that emotionally, right? We can profit off people emotionally. We can profit off people financially. People can profit off us. And people have profited off me many different ways. But here's the one way that I don't like. It doesn't vibrate with me when they extract. You see, there's a difference between profiting off of nature and drilling in the ground and extracting fuels to use, right? And going, oh, it's hard to do it. There's something blocking me, but you know what I'm going to do? Create this way around all that so I can get the most out of that. And I don't got to give so much and kind of cheat. Maybe I could cheat. If I can, I can, right? Without thinking repercussion. They just think, I can get by. And so that way of people profiting, if they have an intention of like, oh, you know what? This person ain't going to know that I'm going to take this from them. They don't even know. They're not smart enough. So I'm going to go to this level and take from them. They call it taking candy from a baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The baby don't know no difference, but you take it away and then the baby cries. But by that time, you off. Nothing's going to happen. You think, right? But it's like taking candy from a baby. What about taking something from a baby tiger while the mother's there? Or you don't know where the mother is. Like, or a baby grizzly bear, right?
The baby grows up and remembers it.
The second you see a baby grizzly bear, you should be like, where's the mama? And so those parts is the repercussion. The mother is the repercussion, which is wild that I'm saying it right now because that just broke something in my head and fixed something's growing. But the mother is the repercussion, and the baby is like, we look at nature as the baby, and we could take that candy away. But actually, nature isn't what we're taking it from. We're taking it from the moment and the experience, and the life. But the mother of life is nature. And we don't worry, oh, where's the mother at? We got this. We'll pour it into the river, whatever. There's plenty of that. We got this. Oh, the other people go, they're going to destroy the earth. We're going to destroy the whole earth. And I'm like, no, we're not. We'll make it hard for us to be here. But the earth is going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
the mother's going to show up. You might
Yeah.
be like, oh, we're going to hurt this. No, you're not. You don't hurt a baby lion as long as the mother exists, right?
Yeah.
And so people profiting off of me, that's cool, as long as they don't extract from me more than I'm giving for them to profit, because I give. I'm not like, oh, you can't have none, so that they have to take it. They don't have to take it. They can ask for it, and I give it. But they ask, and they start asking, and they ask, and then they go, oh, you know what? Why pay for it if I can just take from him, right? That's
one of the
thing.
things I notice about you is that you are a infinite fountain of creativity. Like you'll sit down and you'll do, well, I'm going to do 50 Christmas ornaments this week, or I'm going to spit a flow and it's going to be like 8 minutes long and it's going to just have all this incredible richness to it. Or I'm going to sit down, I'm going to make some paintings this week. It's such a miracle to witness, and it's so amazing. I want to ask you about what you did today, because you mentioned when you go into the schools. Can you tell us about what you're doing and why it means so much to you?
Yeah, you know what? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm going into elementary schools and doing rallies. They call them assemblies. So all the kids come into, all the children, the youth come into the gym, or their common ground where they all, the cafeteria and things like that. And basically they just sit down, and it's like, kindergarten to 4th grade. Then we do like 5th and 6th graders, you know what I'm saying? After. So beatbox, teaching them rhythms, timing is different for different things. When I do it with Beats Lyrics Leader with Jay Ross, we're doing performing, we're beatbox, we're rapping, we're teaching them beats per minute, tongue twisters, getting them to come up and rap, talking to them about, agreements instead of rules, type of stuff. When I'm doing the hip hop Congress stuff, I'm going to juvenile hall. I'm doing like workshops at the library, writing workshops about choruses and hooks, such things, interludes. When I go into with Hip Hop for Change, I'm in Sonoma County, and I'm doing, that's a middle school, right? So I'm going into the middle schools and doing, it's like a theater class almost, and teaching them different things about the history of the 50 year of hip hop, because it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. They're talking to them about that, teaching them, stage presence, how to loop, speaking and pronunciating sounds, standing on stage, giving, being supportive of your peers, anti-bullying, teaching them how to set boundaries and then read other people's and respect other people's boundaries, set value to themselves. That's what I'm doing in those schools. And it's so many kids. It's like, yo, if I can inspire just one of them, if one of them can profit from it, I did the job. Like, that's a win, to be able to do that, get paid to do that. That right there is like, that's better than anything. It becomes better than playing at a bar with, people that are drunk or whatever. So lately it's all about community. I mean, it's always been about community for me, but I was trying to get, I think so long, I was trying to get the club crowd to get onto community, come out, and it was like recruiting, like, yo, y'all, we doing this for the family. Y'all know about love, what to do. But things are so polarized now that literally it's the children and the frontliners that need the energy, the refuel, You know what I'm saying? Like how Bob Hope used to go and play for the troops,
Yeah.
like getting out there and doing it, and then being like the youth are like, yeah, they're so psyched up about like life and community, and the teachers and are looking and they're like, yeah, you community people that are older, they're like, oh yes, like this is what needs to happen. And so pumping that in every possible way becomes, for me, my focus. My focus is no longer the entertaining aspect of it. And for the most time, hip hop was always community for me. I just went from community to communitainment. Then that became entertainment. And the bigger that gets, the less micromanaging of you can do in the community. It goes the biggest bang for the buck, the biggest fundraiser, which is fine for those type of things. But I'm like a Navy SEAL. I'm like the special ops. These 3, 4, 5 of us come in, whoop, do it. You know what I mean? Dip out.
What are those kids leaving with?
Props on it. I don't need no statues for it, right? I just need the kids to be like, I don't remember his name, but he made me think of, this thing. I forget what his name was. He beatbox, but he made me think of like this, and now I want to do this. That's it. And he was talking about hip hop. He was hip hop. I don't know what his name was, but it was hip hop. And like now I want to do hip hop. That's it. That's it. I want to be hip. I want to be myself. You know what? I'm this, and this is now my name. And as we go through the days of people being able to embrace and what would be the words I'm looking for?
Choose. There's choice involved, like who they are and what they are.
Yeah, the choice,
like, are you referring to how these days we have gender fluidity?
Yeah, what would be the word, like if someone wants to be
like, I think what you're referring to is these days there's more transparency to an individual connecting to their inner flow as their identity.
Identity. That's the word I'm looking for. So what people can identify with all sorts of things, right? So someone can identify with however they want to identify with, especially these days. Yeah. So I'm okay with it. Like whatever. I identify as hip hop. I identify as all things, all love. I identify as a piece of all things. You know what I'm saying? And so if I can do that, right? Because that's what hip hop's always been. And think of how long it's been like, that's ridiculous. You guys are just rhyming. Oh, it's a phase. It's a culture on the planet. You know what I mean? And easily things like that can be misunderstood and as well as neglected or forgotten. But while that happens, it exists. Like a magician can do woo, 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 this, and people go, wow, he's from another place. But the magician just goes, no, I know the rules of this trick, right? It's easy. So I could tell anybody, oh, you can rhyme. I can't rhyme. You got to be born with being great rhymers. I didn't say you can rhyme great. I'm just saying you can rhyme. Like anybody can rhyme. It's like saying some people are really comfortable expressing their feelings and some people just aren't.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. You know, some people are really just good at lifting weights and some people just aren't. That's how I think about it. Some people are good at riding a bike. Some people just aren't. You know what I mean? Some people are good at math. Some people just aren't. Right? Some people are good at sleeping. Some people just aren't. See, that's more honest. That's more. Some people aren't good at sleeping.
Lately, I have not been good at sleeping, but that's a whole other story.
Some people have conditions where they just can't sleep, right?
Yeah.
There's conditions where people that can't sleep. But
you mentioned 50 years of hip hop. And I'm wondering if you could mark the beginning and for our audience who might not understand.
11th, 1973.
Wow.
What happened?
In the Bronx.
Is that when they had the neighborhood party and
in the Bronx?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where this thing that we call hip hop as we know it sprout. Like that first sprout popped from the little green, and right, and then that seed starts growing. But the seed was growing and fertilized through all these different things.
You know, one thing that's resonating strongly with me, with you talking about hip hop and music and identity, is last night I saw Dr. Angela Davis speaking at College of Marin. She
Wow.
mentioned how Black music is the music of freedom, and it's freedom for everybody. And that's why it's worldwide. That's why jazz is worldwide. That's why hip hop is worldwide, because it's freedom and it's freedom for everybody. And that's resonating with your words as I hear you speak as well.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be freedom for everybody? That's what I tell people. I'm like, it's not an extra thing. Someone else was talking to me about this when I was doing this thing at the library. It was like, like Black music, and I'm saying, you know what, like Black excellence, Black love, just love. The thing about it is that the Black they put on us, right? They put the Black on us and then created a Black by erasing our history and our cultures.
Yeah.
Now, Black, they start being like, oh, we're going to call it Black am. They think that Black is bad, right? But they call a black hole, not because it's dark, but because they don't know what's inside it. Dark matter is dark matter, not because it's dark. It's because they don't know. And so the Blackness that I have starts with where I don't know myself.
Yeah.
And I want to find myself, because naturally, by not knowing yourself, all you can do is continuing to find yourself, which is the reason, I believe, to even exist. So by taking away existence, creating a reason to exist, by taking away these things and not creating it, re-emerging it. You see, because I used to say, thank goodness there was oppression. All these different things that happened created hip hop. But no, I know hip hop exists continually. It's like life continues, right? And where we are, we live in this life right here. We're on Earth, right? Running it. It's billions of us. There was another time where there was billions of things, right?
So would you say that the vibration that hit on August 11th, 1972, that actually existed prior to that date, and so hip hop is eternal?
Prior to, from the Big Bang was the first beatbox, the first hip hop. What we call hip hop is really connection and acknowledgement of the connection, and then interacting with the connection, which makes difference, and that difference causes a connection, right? And so this is the dance of existence. If you had an infinite mind, the moment you thought of that, right? Since there is no time, there is no moments, it's just like you think of that. Like right now, just think in my head, like I can feel it, and here I can feel it. But if I had an infinite mind, can you imagine? You can't. Just thinking like, right?
It might look like this.
Yeah. Infinite. And that's a grain of sand of it. It's so infinite, right? That it'd be like so wild. It's so beautiful that we don't have to look at it like that. Even though we could create that within it. We are actually that on the outside, right? So inside of this beautiful thing we can then create these minuscule, beautiful other things of art, songs, moments, and we're inside of a thought. And think of the thoughts that are inside of us. And with this minimal mind, we can do that, right?
So with all this energy you have, what do you do for yourself to regenerate? And yeah.
I drink water.
All right. That's a good reminder.
Yeah, we're given this to, like, what's better than, I don't know, are we G-rated on here? Are we X?
No, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Okay, well, I said on the stage at the show, I said something for all the sons and daughters. The only thing better than pussy, and then I picked up water. And then at the end, I said, "I'm not a killer, don't push me. The only thing better than water." Yo, life is beautiful. Every moment is beautiful, and the more we recognize it and acknowledge it in these moments of acknowledgement, that's where the beauty, like, there's an energy that flows inside of it. And the more lately that I've been thinking about that, the more I feel the energy of that's why we're being distracted. Like, people like, distracted from what? And I'm like, well, pay attention and you'll see. Acknowledge what's going on and you'll see what we're being distracted of. The beauty of life, which is dope for the art and pictures and stuff like that. Like, we can grab those moments.
Yeah.
Right? Not only that, we can grab those moments to remember. Now they're making machines to create moments that never happened.
Yeah. Which is interesting because it is happening, but it's in a circumstance that we right now are deeming as not real. But in actuality, like, I think with AI, what's kind of going on is it is altering reality, what's going to be identified as reality.
It's augmenting it.
Right. And I think our
but
children.
So isn't scratching a turntable.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. I think our children and their children are going to adapt to the things that are happening. Like, I don't think
I'd like to see AI try to change the world as fast as scratching a turntable did. Like, let's sit for this moment, for a moment, and imagine the world if they never went and mixed that record like that. Imagine just that one.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, we think of these tools that they create, but just like there was a time when the record player was created, and you know who couldn't stand that? Orchestras.
Huh.
Now, the orchestras, though, recorded music, which is an interesting, I'll brief little story I'll toss to you. Recorded music is a funny thing because before they had to get the musicians to play, and where they would get them to play is in the castle.
Huh. Yes,
right?
yes.
Like, that's where you'd get, but they were playing in the village where they called the people the villains. Now, they played in the village, and every now and then they could pay someone, come play in the castle. But the real players are like, no, because they just didn't like the castle. The castle, see how they get down, see how they treat us. We're not going in there to play for y'all. Then they'd get somebody that's going to go, okay, I'm going to go in. Now, for the most part, the first people that would go in and play music, right, because of that bridge, do you know who the first person that would come in to play music in the castle before orchestras ever did?
I have no idea.
Well, the Joker, the dunce.
Ah.
He'd have bells on his head, and you know what I'm saying?
That's true. Like, you see them
and play little funny songs, and they'd laugh. Ha ha! He'd fall over the place, the buffoon. Right? Come on in. If you come in, we're gonna laugh at you outwardly. We're gonna laugh at you. Come in here and perform for us. So the real ill people that could cook, that could make the best clothes, the number twos and the number threes were in the castle. The number one was never in the castle. Number one was in the village. Like, now I'm good. Right.
Well, I also heard that the fool was the one who was sending the truth. So he would tell the truth of what the king and queen are doing to the people, but he did it as a fool.
Yes. Yeah. Right. It's Flavor Flav in it.
Yes.
But peep this. Then they created a way to record the music. So they just made you play once. Just come on, play for us once. Just once. You don't even got to live there, but we'll pay you this much for this once. You know what? For this once, we don't got to stay there too. And they're going to pay us. They're going to give us this land and everything. You know, and we'll do it so dope that they're going to need, because they're going to need us to come back. They're not going to do nothing to us. They need to come back. So they come in and play. Maybe it's a guy on a piano or whatever. They started with a piano, figuring out how to. Okay, you come and play. But now we just recorded that. They got this weird contraption. I don't know what that is. Whatever, we'll just play. Then they go, here's the funny part. And they played it back and they could hear them. Wait, how do y'all have? And some people thought it was demons. They captured our spirit and put it into this machine, which is like this tube, you know, what was it called? Something phone.
Gramophone.
A gramophone, right? Now they go back to the village. Yo, they got this machine. Then they come out to the village. They kill those bands. We don't need you anymore. You want, and the other guys, who's next? You sure don't want to work for us? Now you're going to work for us, play for us. We're going to record you, and we're going to pump these out to the other castles. Right? And we got people standing there acting like they're playing, dressed up like dunces. Right? Now, think about this. We were like, that's going to take all our jobs. But without that, there's no. So it's just a tool, and how we look at it, we can go, that's going to take jobs. For me, I'm like, that's going to make things for people like me a lot easier. That's the mistake they're doing. Well, we're going to make the people that are like the ones that are like, yeah, I'm going to deal with all that. Let's make it easier for them to write grants, to have their bios written, to have a contract written, for them to really do all the things, do these multiple things. Let's make it easy for them. Not thinking that. We're like, we're going to make it hard for us because those people don't exist. They're too far in between. They're not going to come together. They're not going to connect. That's the bluff, right? They're not going to. And after a certain amount of things in life, they already see that. That's why they get scared when hip hop come together. When it be like coming together, they get scared, but they got it locked down here. You know, that's the thing. The things that they're not thinking about are like, okay, we're not going to put funding in schools. Now we'll put funding in music and art. Now you go in, we're going to go into the elementary schools. They wasn't looking at gangster rappers and being like, these guys are going to come to elementary schools and teach.
True.
High schools, they're like, yeah, we don't want to fund the high schools. You want to go to elementary school? Sure. What are you going to do? Beatbox, talk to them about rhythm. Nothing to see here but boundaries and like decisions and being, you know, having self-esteem, right? The things that aren't always taught, you know. And today, and a couple of times I'll go and there'll be a kid sitting in the front, right? And I look at him in the eyes, and like while things are going on, I'm like, it's a call and response, but I'm looking at him, right? Talking about, we're doing tongue twisters. So it's like toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, saying that multiple times, and red leather, yellow leather. And Jay Ross is doing it, and then I'm looking at the kids like, yeah, red leather, yellow, and I'm messing up, and we're smirking, but he's looking at me, right? And the teacher's like, you know, my thing about it is sometimes they don't even have someone to do that. Sometimes the mother is busy with 2 jobs doing something, or the father, or they're just not even there. It's like, go play, whatever. And you look, and they don't have that real connection with a human being that sees them as an equal human being, not a child, not anything but like, yo, we're here. And he was like, looking, and that's the the trust that we have interacting with people, right? We get that, and we feel this person gets me. Whoa, okay, we trust. And a lot of people figured out how to use that and not be real, right? But we are at a place of like, we bring it to the children, we real about it, we support them. Look, you can be this. You're radio? Yeah, my name is Radio. You know what I mean? My belly's big because I ate too many cookies, so don't eat too many cookies, y'all. But like, I'm radio, and that's who I am. I'm radioactive. And they're like, wow. Like, no one named me that. It's just like, that's who I am. This kid got up to rap. Oh, this is so cute. He said, yeah, I don't really rap. I mean, never rapped before. Okay, come up and kick some flows. All right, I'll do something like, well, what's your rap name going to be? He said, I don't know. We're thinking like, oh, Lil Wayne is what people like. Lil Wayne. Oh, there's a lot of Lil something. Yeah, Lil Ketchup. And he's like, fries with a little ketchup. Chicken sticks. Fish sticks with a little ketchup. Yeah. Yo, it was so dope. I was like, little ketchup. And then what's wild is that we came to the idea of, you know how people are saying they lil this, lil that.
Yeah.
My prophecy is Lotta. Is that people gonna be like, yo, a lot of chains, lot of money, a lot of
Okay.
cheddar. You know what I'm saying? A
Right,
lot of
right,
dollars. What's your name? My
right.
name is a lot of dollars, right? A lot of ladies, right?
Right.
LL be like, my name is a lot of ladies, like a Lotta, because instead of Lil, it's Lotta.
Yeah.
Lot of mercy.
Seems like a natural progression for sure.
Lot of mercy. That's a dope one.
I like that one. Yeah.
I'm glad y'all recording this because I'm gonna have to remember that one. A lot of mercy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What's next on the agenda? Can I hit you guys with questions?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
All right. Can you tell me one time in your life where you were extremely humbled by a decision you made that was irrational?
Yeah. But I'm going to make you tell it. The first time we met. You remember?
You
We
were
were-
humbled by what decision did you make that was irrational?
To go outside with you.
No, that's a rational decision. That was an irrational. I'm like, wait a minute. No, when we met, you did the right thing. That was extremely rational. If you was
Okay.
like, nah, man, I just can't because I work here and walked away, right now we'd be saying, I don't know when that's irrational. When you could have smoked with me, you didn't.
That you're okay.
No, you know what? When I did this before, we told that story.
That's true.
We
So
told that story. But you know what?
something I did that was
I have a
irrational.
better story.
Okay, good.
You changed my whole life by teaching me calmness. And the way that you teach me calmness and just acknowledging that, it be a thing sometimes where I feel like we knew each other so long ago. This has nothing to do with that making it irrational or the question that I asked. But Greg, you'll be able to answer. You'll get to answer that question as well. But I'm telling a different story because a story that I find to be better than the story of when we met is the story of when we connected, which is a very different story. You know what I'm saying? Like when we connected and we rode out to LA, Kobe Bryant passed, the Grammys happened. Puffy was like, yo, by next year, y'all gonna be talking to us a bit different.
And they did.
Notre Dame was burning.
Right?
Right? And the freaking world went upside down after that. But I would have never made it through that if I hadn't connected with you. And
it's all a loop because, of course, Rock the Nation, I would have never survived the life I was living without that anchor to my life, right? Like it's this thing where everybody feeds everybody, right? And we're all this one thing all the time. And so it was easy for me to connect with you because I was already connected through the work that you've done, through your art, right?
It couldn't have been that easy to connect with me to go to LA to like if you guys asked anybody, they'd be like, what? He went to where with you to a yoga retreat, like radio. Listen, you know how many times so many people have tried to get me to go, and I'm like, yo, one thing I'm not, all that is you go, not yoga, you go, any of that type of thing. And so to even ask me,
it's the thing I
didn't
know about you that had me able to ask you, right? I connected with the part of you that's beyond all that because I can see beyond the surface. I can see into the heart of art, right? The heart core of you, right? I'm going to have to think about what decision I made that was irrational while Greg tells his story, because that's actually a better question. And we're getting kind of off track here. I don't want to make it.
Greg, do you have an answer?
I do. I just want to make sure when you say humbled, that's not the positive of humility, like when I was brought to my knees, like broken by an irrational decision, a
Humbled.
mistake, like a mistake.
Mm, not a mistake, a decision that was irrationally made that humbled you to realize, humble, like, if you're humming the word, that was bull. Like that was bull. You know what I'm saying? Like you're to yourself, man, that was some bull that I just did. I've done things where I'm like, why the hell did I just do that? Like what?
Well, I definitely have a decision I made in my life where I know it was a mistake. And that's when I've talked about it a few times on our podcast. I sold my soul to the devil, and nothing, like no black religion thing. I was just out on the deck wanting to be a rock star. And I said, all right, if that's what it takes to be a rock star, I'll do it. Sell my soul to the devil. And
That's what you did?
yeah. And I went to a very dark journey, which I still am on in a way, a process of healing and a realization, oh, God is real. Oh, whoops, my bad. And in the process, discovering God is real and all love. So yes, I made a mistake from my viewpoint. From God's viewpoint, it never happened.
Okay.
But I was
That's
definitely
good to know.
broken.
I mean, why do you think from God's viewpoint?
Because God created us. So this is my faith in what I've read in Course in Miracles, that God created us and God only creates love and joy. So it's our experience of negativity, fear, darkness, broken, whatever, is a dream. And one day we will wake up and God will be there like, hey, like if we're a child, if you have a child and a child is like dreaming of a scary monster in the closet and the monster's chasing them down the hallway and they wake up screaming and crying and the parents, they're like, no, it's okay. Look, you're still in bed. There never was a monster down the hallway. It never happened. It was a dream. And that's like where God, my understanding of Course in Miracles is the Holy Spirit's the parent there at the bed saying, hey, it's a dream. It didn't happen. God is the next step where you are just immersed in that all love.
So let me ask you this. Would you connect love with joy as being close to the same thing?
I'd say they're one and the same. Absolutely.
So sadness, there would be no love?
There is no sadness.
Of course, there's suffering.
Yeah, but that's now you and I are talking about our physical experience on this planet. I'm talking about the oneness of creation.
I see what you're saying. I'm just saying for me, joy, the issues that human beings have is mixing up joy, which is a part of love, as if it is one and the same. But, like there's both sides to all things. There's the day, there's the night. Nature is beautiful with butterflies, but nature is also tornadoes. Both of those things are love. So, but cause suffering, right? But when it comes down to human beings and man theology of something, I don't believe that is on the view of love from God, because it's something we created. Even the thought of a monster running down the hall, what the monster looks like is probably going to be black and like tattered clothes, are very much like the people in the village, right? Like the villains look like the people in the village, and the witches look like this, and what's evil is told to us. But I don't believe, and then we're sold joy as if joy is love and love is happiness. I don't believe that is all there is. That's when we start confusing and questioning, why is this happening? Why is so much suffering happening? Well, it's all love, right? Love is like light, and light is beautiful when you turn it on and you want to see some place, but also light can burn you, light can blind you, right? And so I think I try to separate that joy, happiness, things are beautiful thing as if that is God, because then we think of back to the selling the soul to the devil. Then we might think that the devil exists separate from God. Like God didn't create the devil, where God created everything and we're all inside of this thing, including the devil, right? And the devil might be, say, like colonialists that might show up and tell these Native Americans, hey, we're going to buy this land from you.
Mhm.
And the Native Americans are like, what? You going to give me $100 for this mountain? Thinking he thinks he can buy the mountain. The mountain's not for sale, but sure, give me $100. Yeah, it's your mountain. Right. Right.
Right.
That's how those things happen, where
Right. I
you
agree.
can't sell your soul to the devil, because the devil is really, the devil is also love. Because this is the thing, the devil is really, have you ever loved someone so much that it's like it gets you, there's like darkness comes.
Well, and Mark can attest to this. Like my ex-wife, that relationship for me is a very loving relationship from which I've experienced a lot of pain.
And you have to love someone that much in order to experience that type of pain, right?
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
could just be someone you bumped into on the street, and then all of a sudden, right? You have to love that much in order to get to that much pain. So the joy has to be so much that it actually is not joy. And that's, it swings around. And to have no joy, right? If you want to like hate or fear someone, right? You basically have to love them. And if you love them so much, you'll hate them. And if you hate them so much, you love them, because love is connection. Love is knowing about something. Love is accepting something the way it is. So you're like, oh, I accept how they like that. I just don't like it. And you know what I mean? These type of things.
Right. That's it exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I believe duality is our humanness. I have faith that duality doesn't really exist. It's like water falling into the ocean. Once it hits, where's the drop? Where, like, it's still, the elements of that single drop exist, but you can't differentiate.
I mean, the duality, I don't think duality exists in the eyes of God, but for all main purposes, duality exists because we exist. And there is one side of us and another, right? There is a here, there is a there is a live, there's all duality. The only place there's not duality is with love. We've created the duality, hate, fear, and everything, but it's all love. That's the tricky part, right?
Yes.
No matter what, no matter where you go, it's all love. There's just minuscule levels of it, right? So minuscule that we'll search for it. And we might see somebody that we think is filled with hate, and they do something nice. And we're like, wow, that murdering general right there just shed a tear because this dog getting hit by my car. At least there's some love, right? If everything's brown on the ground and then you pour water on it, nothing's coming, then all of a sudden you see some green, you're like, there's some life. A plant might have a little green, there's still life in this,
Yeah, and how you were talking earlier about the recordings, and then there's turntables, and then there's someone in a window with two turntables, and that boom. And it reminded me of nature, and you have cement, and then a sprout breaks through the cement, and the cement starts breaking. And I have faith that's nature, and we're a part of that. So no matter what's going on with the others of the world who want to profit and leave nothing for what they're taking from, nature's always going to find a way through that cement.
And nature is actually at the same time causing it.
Yeah.
Like the last time there was billions of living things of the same type of thing on Earth, there was about 1.5 billion Tyrannosaurus Rexes on Earth, right? Now, if there were no such thing as dinosaurs, we wouldn't be able to pollute the Earth. Think about that.
Yeah.
Fossil fuels cause plastics. All that's dinosaurs still. The dinosaurs was messing up things then and now. And what's going to happen is our creativity with it, the future is going to be making fuels off of the junk we have around. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're leaving junk that we're like, oh, I'm like, you know what? We don't know what uranium is going to turn to once it goes down in the earth and turns into lava and like, blah, blah, blah. You see, once it gets broken down, we just know we won't be able to be here for it, right? Oh, what happened?
We're here.
You're getting a call.
Call.
I have to pick up my daughter at 6 o'clock. Like, I have to meet her at 6. Maybe it's
back to where we at.
Yeah, it's in a browser window. You'll find it.
It's called.
Should I pop off?
Hey, you got us back. Well, hey, this has been really great. What I think we'll do is I will play a song that you did last year at the Elephant Room in July. I'll just play that video right now, and that'll be the way we go out.
Yeah, and before we go out, though, I want to pump up a couple of folks that so friends of mine. So I'll pump this up. Oh, is it backwards?
No, we look good. It look clean. The right up.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So that's my homie Eli's group. You guys go check that out.
All right.
The write up. That's one thing. And also, here's another thing.
Callie Watts.
Callie Watts.
All right.
Go check out Callie Watts in time.
All right.
All right. Make sure y'all go and check that out. Thanks for having me here, and I'm down to be around anytime, man. Like, maybe we should. I'd love to do one where I can interview some kids at work.
Oh, I'm down for that. Absolutely. And I got to say, this could have gone on for hours, I believe. So I do hope that we continue to connect, because I'm appreciating you and very grateful that Mark has brought you into our world of moped outlaws.
Word up.
You're dropping the knowledge.
A moped.
Yeah.
What's this here that you're going to play?
Well, let's check it out. You did it last year and someone taped it from the audience.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's not playing here.
It's not playing. We're struggling. Are you hearing it, Mark? It's not playing. What? You're not playing
it's not playing here.
No.
I pushed start on the wrong spot. Let me try that again. Here we go.
It looked like you were jamming to it. I was like,
that's it.
On the zone, on the wrong thrones and don't stone for thrones, crowds of sounds, many found all around, bound to break down, bound for pound, lounge and lunge, leap, steep steps to keep depths, we slept with feet sweat and wet, the state depth is deep, deep stress the streets, we breathe, let's retreat, beats, bless, be pleased, heat fresh, freeze, and cheese flash, and grease back the stream, and smash the team, know what I mean? Mash like a marine, relax, we get the green, roll some animals, condone, we getting wrong, don't know where the phone, not home, we got it solely, say it how it came, come from the brain. KC, how you feeling in here? That's my homie KC, that's the man of the year. I was ripping around until he walked right in front of me, giving me a pound in my hand, what they want from me. I guess it's poetry, freestyle lyric, the journal right in the pocket, so I'm here to share it, giving words that I'm talking about. That's what I flow, whether elephant in the room or toad in the hole, I go back and forth, I mean forth and back. Name is Radioactive, you can find me back. Used to rock with Spearhead, but before that, it was Galactic and Carl Denson, yeah, a tiny universe. Remember them days back in Boston, House of Blues. I would amaze my man Professor and me and Delwyn G. Open up your mind, we be the MC, got the sound and the sound, and that's how I stand. Remember when I used to rock with Houseman? He would put out the pipe saying, my man. And when I get the microphone, let's take it land. And plus, I'm Jazz Mafia, you know, Adam P.
Oh,
That's my homie, we kick flows, rock them shows, you can see how it be. Plus free peoples, they down with me. My man Johnny D, hey, rest in peace. And when I'm on the microphone, I keep it to see. Oh yeah, I didn't see your hand in the back with a clap that's going while I'm keeping it down. I'ma get on the floor and dance around while I rap around the microphone, breaking it down, cause there's enough space, and that's how it be. The bass man rocking, he look like Johnny D. This is our family. Now you know, first time that I'm rocking with you, this is the flow. I was doing a little something while I'm gonna speak, but I'd rather hear the horns while we free. We got rhymes and music and rhymes. People hear it in the air. We doing it now. While I'm drinking on my bubble, and you know we in trouble. Every time I go to spit it, I go for double. I be staring, clearing. There is Karen holding her phone. Yo, I am staring. I'm on the floor as ladies they dance. I would drink the truth, but they don't make that. There ain't no juice, so I do champagne. Name Radioactive, that's my name. I'm from Boston, but I live in Sebastopol. When I rock the microphone, I got to flow. Yeah. We already yeah. Hey, we up in there. It's like, yeah. We all up in there. Yeah. We all up in there. Yeah. We all up in there. It's like, yeah. And when we start rocking, we be up in there. Up in the pocket so we know we clear. And when you do it, jumping with your hand in the air, the other hand holding your hoodie. My name's Radioactive, I'm a mom and name me Woody. I mean, that's Woodrow, good song, would you? Try to listen, parents from Costa Rica. That means I rip the rhythm, meaning I do the music, meaning I'm in the pocket. When I hear the rhythm, you know I'm jumping on it. I'm on it when I'm on it, and that's the way we jiggle. We get funky, he gon' hold the light for a little. That's the sound, man, at the same time you do it. And that's the way we get moving. While we keeping it clear, throw your hands in the air if you up in there. Yeah, up in the air. Hands in the air. Yeah. Hands in the air. We up in the air. Yeah. Hands in the air. We up in the air. Yeah. Hands in the air. We up in the air.
I've never seen this. Yo, that was dope. I actually never seen that.
Cole.
I never seen that at all. That was dope.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I never seen that. Thanks for playing that. That was dope to watch.
Yeah. It's great having you. We will push this out Monday. Lots of love. Let me know when we can do another show.
Word up. Have a happy Earth Day. I'm going to go to
you
Earth
too.
Day in Auburn on Sunday. So,
all right,
blessings. Love you, brother.
Blessings. Love you too.
All right, peace.